Greetings to all my friends out there. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Rabbi John Carrier, coming to you from Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. I should say coming to you from my living room on behalf of Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. Nevertheless, however you are connecting with this, I'm delighted to be learning with you about the Omer. Tonight, after the sun goes down, we are counting the second day of Omer. And this week, we're looking at the divine attribute of Chesed. And if you didn't catch me saying this before, if I forgot to say this before, just because it's a divine attribute doesn't mean that it's not inside us. We are, after all, created in the divine image. Yesterday, we talked about the definition of Chesed. Today, I want to share with you my favorite story from our tradition that embodies this idea. This is from a collection of Midrashim called the Avot of Rabbi Natan, and I've loved this story for years now. It's something that in some synagogues, it's recited every morning as a part of Shachrit, and every time I read it, it hits home in some way, and that was before the coronavirus pandemic. And you'll see in a second why it's all the more poignant to me now, and maybe for you as well. The story goes like this. This is a scene from the rabbinic period. This is after the second temple in Jerusalem is destroyed. And I don't think it was like the next day after the temple was destroyed. It was many, many years later. However, the Jewish people who lived around Jerusalem still had this deep sense of longing for the way things used to be. And this one teacher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, was walking with his student, Rabbi Yehoshua, and Yehoshua was bereft. He says, Oy lanu, woe is us. The place that atoned for the sins of our people now lies in ruins. How can we get right with each other? How can we get right with God? How can we do Yom Kippur or make tshuva when the place that we used to do that is smashed? Does this mean that we can no longer connect with God? Does this mean that we have to carry grudges and can't gain forgiveness? If we can't make sacrifices, how do we be Jewish? So Rabbi Yochanan said to his student, and Rabbi Yochanan had probably felt the same anguish, but had had a little bit more time to process it and maybe a little bit more wisdom with which to look at the situation. He said, B'ni, Al Yeralacha, don't fear, don't worry. Even though the temple is destroyed, we can still gain atonement through Gimilut Chasadim, that is deeds of Chesed, loving kindness. We don't have to stop being Jewish because we can't make sacrifices at the temple. We can still get right with each other. We can still get right with God, and we can still grow as human beings. And how do I know this? Because before all this happened, the prophet Hosea said it was okay. Hosea said on behalf of God, Ki chesed chafatzti v'lo zavach, because it's loving kindness that I desire, says God, not sacrifices. So the time and place where everything they knew about how to be Jewish and how to be human was taken away from them for who knows how much longer, they look to the tradition and they say, it's chesed that counts for the most. That's how we stay connected with each other and with God. So that's my favorite story about Chesed. I'm curious to see if you have a favorite story about Chesed, whether it's from our tradition or a story from your own life or a movie or a book or just some great example of loving kindness and how it can make the difference in the clutch, even in uncertain times. Let me know in the comments to this video, however you're connecting with it. Email me back, write it down in your journal. Don't forget to count day 2 of the Omer tonight with those great recordings from Cantor Ruth, and I'll see you again on day 3. Peace.